Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming to our 2022 Determined to Educate College Prep panel. We have amazing panelists, but before we get to our panelists, I want to introduce to you our amazing moderator for the evening, Mr. Kenny Green. Kenny Green is a CPA and founder of Green Passion Projects, an organization that builds effective strategies for operationalizing social and environmental impact and sustainability goals. Kenny's background includes conducting trainings and consulting with the Stanford Police Department, serving as vice president of the Jackie Robinson Park of Fame, board member of the Carroll Family Foundation, founded by NBA player Damari Carroll, working with NBA star and Heisman Trophy winner Charlie Ward on a community fundraiser, and consulting with Grammy-winning songwriter Stephen Batty, on a social impact music video featuring Super Bowl champion DeMarcus Ware and rapper Snoop Dogg. Kenny has held several corporate leadership roles, including Chief Financial Officer of Access for Life, a medical device startup and global head accounting firm, and reporting for Archwood Treatment, a multinational manufacturer, and has recently been appointed to television outlets including the Learning Channel, Fox, and HBO. He also hosts a weekly Instagram series called Success Secrets, which amplifies with the voices of influencers who have committed to following their passions on the Stanford Community IG channel. That's at Stanford Community. Kenny earned an MS in accounting and a BA in economics from Wesleyan University. He resides in Stanford, Connecticut, with his wife, Nikita Mays Green, a television executive, and their 3 children, Javon, Brandon, and Journey. I always get to Javon. So right now, let us welcome Mr. Kenny Green.
My wife said I need to have a short bio, so that was my short bio. So I apologize for that short bio, but so happy to be here with everyone here today. We're here to talk about college preparation. We have a panel that's even more accomplished than you heard all those things they said about me, but the panelists are going to blow you away. So I'm super excited here to have such a great panelist, and we're gonna just get into it. So I'm going to start with our esteemed panelists online first, as you see in the boxes here. So first we have Amber Childs Santos. Amber has a master's degree in integrated biomedical engineering and business. That just crushes my whole resume right there. From Drexel University, located in Philadelphia, PA. And she has also a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Howard University. Let's go DC, Washington, DC, my hometown. She was blessed to be a part of Howard University's graduation with a late great actor, Chadwick Boseman, who served as the honorary graduation speaker. Her past work experience includes the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, Boston Scientific, Zimmer Biomet, and Regeneron Pharmaceuticals. Ms. Childs Santos has traveled abroad. She's been around and completed research doing undergrad in Bo, Cameroon, and Al-Ain. I hope I said that right, Al-Ain, United Arab Emirates. Amber Childs Santos currently works as a test engineer at Medtronic, located in North Haven, Connecticut. Please give a round of applause to Amber.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're here. Wow, that's an awesome background. So, and we're gonna keep it going, and we have another great panelist who's also here in the box here, and his name is Jamie Campbell. And Jamie Campbell was a member of the inaugural class of the CEO Action for Racial Equity Fellows. These fellows identify and assess current policies in 4 key areas: healthcare, education, economic empowerment, and public safety, and then recommend how existing policies can be amplified, changed to meet its intended purpose, or propose new policies. Jamie was the recipient of the 2013 Dr. James Robin Equity Opportunity Award. And this award is given to recognizing Penn State faculty. So you're talking to a Penn State faculty member here, if you guys didn't know, or staff member who has contributed to the university by improving cross-cultural understanding. He served as a panelist on topics ranging from social justice to students' issues. He's also been a keynote speaker for various leadership programs. Jamie has been published in various texts and is an editor on building effective diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, transforming organizational culture, using step-by-step organizational change approaches in a globally connected world. So Jamie serves as Assistant Dean for Diversity Enhancement Programs at Smeal College of Business. He is a 1995 graduate of Morehouse, represent HBCUs here, where he obtained his BA in sociology. He also obtained his master's in education, with concentrations in adult education and instruction education from Central Michigan University in 2003. And if that wasn't enough, is also a PhD candidate in the workforce education program with concentrations in organizational design, human resource development at Pennsylvania State University. He lives with his wife, Kimberly, are the parents of 3 children, Grace, Vivian, and Lily. Wow. Another day panelist. Hopefully you here already, never stop learning, because these people haven't stopped learning. So there's no excuse for all of us to continue learning. So now I'll turn to the room. And first, who we have sitting at the table here is the esteemed Shelly Morris. Shelly Morris, who's the coolest person, is the Senior Director of Insights and Analytics for Paramount Global Consumer Products. And if you guys know Paramount, that's responsible for CBS, Viacom, most of the things you're probably watching on TV today. In this role, Shelly promotes a data-driven culture by analyzing industry and brand performance to inform the retail, finance, category, and strategy teams. She consistently demonstrates her value as a leader by uncovering new insights to help Paramount capitalize on the strength of its brands in an omni-channel environment, grow revenue, and increase brand efficiency. Her analysis, coupled with an understanding of trends, the viewer and the consumer are all helpful in expanding partnerships and developing strategic roadmaps for leading franchises, such as all the kids know these franchises here: Paw Patrol, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I like Michelangelo, so you know that. Star Trek, SpongeBob I got to. Avatar, Mean Girls, and The Godfather. Shelly has a BS in Mechanical Engineering from North Carolina A&T State University, a MS in Engineering Management from the George Washington University, and received an MBA from the Fuqua School of Business at Duke University. I'm happy I was and she's also joins me as a native Washingtonian and currently resides in New York City. Shelly enjoys traveling, sports, and a lot of other great things. And she's also an advisor of the National Society of Black Engineers and works tirelessly in the community to connect students in STEM with unique career opportunities. Please give a hand. That's awesome. Wow. All right, last but not least, we have Andre. Andre McCullough, who I'm welcoming to the stage. He has a great interest here. Andre is from New York City, so right here on New York City, and played high school basketball at the Manhattan Center High School for 2 years, and then went on to prep school in Maine at Bridgeton Academy. Andre was a top 100 high school basketball player in high school, and then went on to play at Eastern Arizona College and was a top player there also. He then went and tried out for the Washington Bullets in the NBA, so still representing DC. There's a lot of DC here. I love this. Representing DC here, went to play for the tryout for the Bullets, and then he was drafted to play overseas in Switzerland, Germany, France, and Italy. Andre now runs Hard to Guard Books and Ball, which is a program that helps young men and women be seen by college coaches. The program also helps them with scholarship opportunities as well. Mr. McCullough also trains high school, college, and NBA players with skills and conditioning. Please give a hand to Andre McCullough. This is an awesome panel here. I want to make sure I'm in the right place here. They told me I got to stand like right here, or yeah, I don't feel the screen. But so happy to have all of you here today. And so we're here to talk about college preparation. We have a lot of young people that are listening to this. They want to know more about college, want to know more how to get there. And maybe we can start with a couple of stories. I know we all had different roads to get to college. So maybe we'll start with that first question. Like, how did you pick the school that you want to go to? And maybe I'll start with you, Andre, on that one. Like, how did you end up picking the school that you ended up going to?
I was a basketball player, high school basketball player, top plays in the country. So it was a little easier for me. I was seeing how the country playing college ball, and coaches. My freshman year, I already had 22 different scholarships for the university to play basketball. So it was a little easier for me. But what I see with the kids today at the high school that I work at, most of them never been out of college. So what I do is I try to take them to different local colleges, or as far as down to North Carolina, a lot of HBCU schools.
I think so for me, it was not a similar. When I first started looking at colleges, I remember telling my parents every school on my list was probably a school that was in the Final Four or the Sweet 16. I was going by basketball. My backup was football team. So that's where I started. My dad said, let's try to revisit this because you're not playing ball. So let's try and look at what you may want to do in the future. I really didn't know. So someone told me that, you're good at science and math, why don't you consider engineering? But honestly, I wasn't sure if that's what I wanted to do either. But I said, I'll look at schools that have good basketball programs and engineering as a way to try and meet my parents' needs. So that's kind of how I got started, trying to figure out what school to go to.
Great. Jamie, do you want to maybe take the time for that question? Like, how did you pick? I mean, you went to a lot of different schools here. Like, how did you initially, what were your college prospects like? How did you navigate that space?
I wound up at Morehouse because I listened to a counselor. I had a counselor at I was in the talent search program at Columbia. And I know if I read the address right, so for reference, I'm from 174th and Vice, and I went to Rice High School, which is, which was one of the rivals there. And in the talent search, you had to figure out what college you wanted to go to almost immediately, right? And they were on you. So I thought I was going to go to Annapolis, and I had a counselor that said, look, Morehouse is a great school. You really should look at it. And by the time I finished talking to all of those recruiters, Morehouse became number one. And so it was hard initially getting my mother to buy in to go in. My dad, one of my aunts, had to really have a conversation about letting me go to Georgia because we didn't have any family there. I think things turned, but it was an effort to go, but it was great to get out of the city. And I was at Columbia for all of the programs there, top programs and these different things. And I just took advantage of opportunities. But it started because I filled out the application just to get that counselor off my back. So I say that to tell the students, sometimes it may not seem like they know what they're talking about, but just give them a listen and it works. So it wound up going to Morehouse and then went on to Central Michigan. And now I'm working at Penn State, but I'm also working on a PhD here as well. So it was just listening and just trying to figure out where.
Awesome, awesome. Amber, you want to tackle that question as well?
Yeah, can you hear me?
You sure can.
Okay, yeah. When I was picking college, main decision factor was I really, really wanted to go to an HBCU. I wanted to meet amongst Black people. I'm like, that's the only way. Whoever was giving up the most money. So I was just like applying to a million scholarships. And I'm like, okay, out of the HBCUs that I applied to, which one has my program, which one is giving the most money, and which one is going to support my dreams? And that was really the decision. And Howard qualified all those boxes. I got a scholarship. It was all HBCU. It had engineering. So
Awesome, and I mean, I can add, my story was similar to you all, where, you know, I kind of listened to a counselor, and I knew probably when I was 10 that I was going to go to college, just from growing up in DC and just looking around, and everyone that was there, they didn't go to college, and I was like, well, I don't want to be here, so I should go to college so I can live somewhere else. So I made the decision early, but how I picked school, I just went to my counselor and I just said, I probably want to go to a small school because I like to talk too much. I probably wouldn't go to class. It's thousands of people. So she just gave me a list of good small schools and I picked from there. So it wasn't, I would say, the most technical way to pick schools, but it ended up working out well. So we have a lot of different paths here. We all, you know, ended up there in school. But now that you have, like, you know, I kind of fumbled my way through to get there, but now we have this knowledge from going through. We can Monday morning quarterback now. So what would you say, what would you tell yourself when you're about to pick schools? You know, what was some nuggets of wisdom you would give yourself now? If you could talk back to that young, you know, Andre, Shelly, you know, and the rest of us here, what would you do? What would you say to say, maybe you should think about this? Whoever wants to jump in first. I'll go with you.
Myself, I think I would sit myself down. I probably took more visits. I only took 3 visits. I had 5 free visits, but I only took 3. I probably took every visit and asked more questions about the university, took more score. Being a young man, I just thought about basketball. I didn't think about the future. So it'll be more thinking about the future now.
Yeah, I think for me, it's similar to what was said earlier. I probably would have actually just talked to more people about what I wanted to do and what's out there. And similar to, I think that going to see as many schools as you can as possible. I probably would have actually taken one of those, like, you know, a lot of your Boys and Girls Clubs would do like a trip to go down south and go see it all the different HBCUs. I probably would have actually done one of those. Because otherwise, my parents didn't necessarily take off to take me down, but I just didn't know they were available. So I'd have probably talked to more people. I would have found out about more opportunities to just go and try different things and get sponsored to go and all that. So I could just see more and just find out more of the options that were out there.
Amber, would you like to chime in on that one?
yeah, I definitely agree. I would definitely suggest, if possible, if you do have a dream, see if you can get in touch with a student there or just reach out somehow through LinkedIn, Facebook, or whatever, because I feel like the truest perspective of a school would be from the student. The professor is going to sell you the school, say it's the best school in the world, but you don't realize all those little nuances until you're there. Like, wow, maybe I would have changed my mind. I wouldn't have picked this. So I would definitely say speak to as many people, whether it be a counselor about picking a school, a student that goes to the school, a professor in the department. Just speak to as many people as possible.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to be said. I think it's it's important to talk to as many people as you want. It's not just about doing the college tour, but it's really just about talking. The college tour is important, but it's really about talking to people who are there and are going through it and really are figuring out their way as well. I think I probably would have wanted to talk to more students at the college, but it was just about really just being open to the new experience. Because I never knew what sociology was growing up, but when I got to college and found out it worked, it was a good conversation for me to have. So I enjoyed it. So listening.
Yeah, I think I don't think I have much to add to that, because that's, really hitting the nail on the head here. Just see as many schools as you can. I mean, I didn't visit not one. I had the brochures and I kind of looked at the brochure like, these people look happy. So I was just like, I just need to go there and finish. But now I would tell them the exact same thing, to visit as many schools as possible. And so my son Javon, he was here. He just got accepted to Villanova, and it was the pandemic. So we're like looking online, watching videos. We're trying to figure out how to do this. And I'm like, well, you're at least ahead of me, because I just have a brochure. But if you can really get on the campus, and once he stepped on that campus, he was like, this is where I would be. And so I think what you guys are saying is just so spot on. Visit. And the one nugget I'll give you, we were visiting, he was a senior, but there were freshmen. We had parents there that were bringing their freshman kids, looking at schools already. And we met some parents that brought their kids to Duke's campus, and their kids were like 8 and 10. And we were like, wow, you guys are starting early. So, the earlier exposure you get, I would say, would be to schools, and which schools are, what they are, how they feel. The earlier, it's not any time that's wasted. So the earlier you can get out there, I would say. Great. So, you have the things you can tell your young self about school, but getting into school is tough. I mean, I just went through this process with my oldest here, so just getting into school is tough. Are there any classes that you wish you had under your belt when you were applying? And what could you tell the young people now? You really should have this or that under your belt, because that would help strengthen who you are. What advice would you give around academics and classes to have?
Myself, I believe I was more accounting. Been strong in math. I was decent with reading, but math part was good, but knowing what I know now, accounting would be.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit different. I think that, just being well-rounded was really the big thing for me. And I think it would have served me then and now, just making sure that I had a good grasp of kind of all those things, right? So in the math, in the reading, in English, science, just because I think everybody now does a lot of all of those areas. So I do think for me, I would say, make sure that you're well-rounded, not only your schoolwork, but in working in the community, as well as just doing other extracurriculars. I think it's not only about the schoolwork, but that's so huge. You at least want to have solid fundamentals. Because when you start, you're going to do something in everything. You're going to do math, science, you're going to do English, all of that kind of at the base. So that's a great foundation for whatever you do.
Our online panelists, whoever wants to jump in on that. Open seat.
I heard someone say stay in the math classes. Yeah, I'm gonna say do that. Because senior year of high school, it's easy to say, okay, I've got enough credits and I'm done with math or foreign language. And one of the things you'll find out is the longer you're out of practice with math and that foreign language, and I know it's New York, so everybody thinks they can speak Spanish, but the more that you're out of that formal process, the tougher it is once you're in class. And I dislike math. I shouldn't say that out loud, but I really don't like math. But I'm sitting here with engineers. It was not my friend. And I stopped immediately. When they said I didn't have to take it, I was done. And I wish that I would have continued on in senior year to at least challenge so that when I went and took those placement tests to say, okay, you'll be in this class, it would have been a little bit easier. But definitely math and foreign language, stay in those languages and don't switch once you get to college. If you've been taking Spanish all the time, don't switch to French. Don't ask me how I know, just trust me. Don't switch to French. Stay in Spanish, complete Spanish, and then take another foreign language.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of what Shelly said, I definitely think the well-rounded thing is important because personally, when I was applying to graduate school, my GPA was below the requirement, but I was very active in like community service clubs and mechanical engineering clubs. And so when I had spoken to a recruiter, like, I really want to go to the school, how do I increase my chances, even though my GPA is below? And it was like, honestly, we are looking for more of the well-rounded student nowadays. So yeah, I didn't have a 3.0, but you have these research groups, you have these internships. So it was like, that means more to me than a perfect 4.0 student who doesn't do anything but keep their head in a book. So being well-rounded, I'm not saying grades aren't important because, grades will get the scholarships, but well-roundedness will really help you in the long run. Because even when it comes to jobs, it's like, can you talk to people? Like, are you awkward? Are you just smart? Like, those are all very important things. So.
No, that's great just to hear these perspectives here because it really highlights you can bring all your skill sets, bring all of you. So yeah, you're strong in math, you can be strong. If you're doing great things in the community, that works too. You have to find something that works for you that you're into. So that's what, I've realized, talking to college counselors and going through this process, they want to know who you are and your body of work. You got to have a body of work. And whatever that is, if it's studying hard or if it's like, hey, I'm out in the community, if it's both, but you got to have some body of work that you have to present because that's who you are. You just, when you send the application, they got to read. You're not there to say, this is who I am. So you got to have something on that page to show that, you've done something that's worthy that they should hear you. So I really, really like this. And I would just say on the classes, I just think of like pre-calc. You're in math. If you want to, have a strong, academic record, at least push to get to pre-calc. I think that's something great to leave high school with, and learn how to write. Like writing is you can put your thoughts on paper. You can go anywhere with that. So if you can just get that academic resume to have those things, then you at least got that core classes done, and then you can tackle all your great community work and arts and that. That sounds like Harvard to me, but that's those things. So, great. College prep, we have a lot of kids, and a lot of times when you say college, it sounds like work. But you have a good time ago. So I think maybe just hearing that it's not all just putting your head down and work all the time. Maybe talk a little bit about your experience, like, some of the good things and some of the joy that you had on college campus and going through the process.
Oh. Man. As a basketball player, there was a lot of partying. It didn't matter which school we went to go play. We went and played Syracuse or somebody like that. And our flight was delayed. It was like the players were like, it was cool. Come on, dog, man. Sneak out. We sneak out, we go, we have a little bit of fun, but it was good. I definitely enjoyed it. Definitely got to get work with fun. Just do all work, or you're gonna have no fun at college. You won't understand the experience. And I had a great time.
Yeah, I think for me, it was similar that, especially freshman year, away from home. I think that, it was my first time kind of really being away from home for any length of time. I met so many people from all over. And I think even just the first couple of weeks, just meeting people that were from Texas and California and all of that, face to face and just hanging out was awesome. But I think I got involved in organizations early. So as I mentioned, I advised with the National Society of Black Engineers. So I got involved with them middle of my freshman year, and I never stopped. We learned how to party together, hang together, study together. When you can find people that's like, hey, so we're gonna go kick it tonight. Tomorrow, we're gonna just push through and study for another couple hours. Saturday, we're gonna go over, because I was in North Carolina, there are a million schools in North Carolina, all within driving distance, whether you're talking about Central, you had Shaw, St. Aug at the time, NC State, A&T, Duke, Carolina. We literally would just kind of push through Saturday morning and study, and then go hang out all Saturday night, and then maybe find our way back to the dorm. Some of us trying to make it to church on Sunday. And then just kind of just trying to figure out how you could just crash until Monday morning. But it was great. It was great being a part of different organizations. I met people in other schools that were doing engineering. So, you know, just get involved in everything. And I think it just makes for a great rounding experience. Like you said, you can't only study. You have to get out and experience life at the same time. But there is balance.
All right, online. I know you guys got some great college joy stories.
Yeah, I had fun. That's all y'all need to know. No, I had a great time. I'm trying to think of what I can clean up. I met my wife. Say that. My wife went to Clark Atlanta University, and I met her my sophomore year in college. So that will be it was great. I got involved. I did everything from student ambassador, which actually allowed me to get my first job out of college. When I graduated, the college hired me back to work in the admissions office. And so that was unusual at the time, but because I was the ambassador, I was a vice president of the organization, president in my major. It was fun, and we'll just leave it there.
Yeah, I disagree with the rest of the panel. College is all about balance. So just finding that middle ground of like, okay, if I study all day, I can party all night, or vice versa. You just got to figure out what works for you. And just remember why you came to college. Like, the education is the number one priority. Doesn't mean you can't have fun along the way. And I'm grateful for like all the lifelong friendships I've made at college. I'm still great friends with so many people. So just the networking aspect is like going to party one day, going to church the next day, you know, going to study hall the next day. It's fun, you know.
It's too expensive not to have fun. It's just
Exactly.
you need to wring every bit that you can wring out of it. So yeah.
Too many HBCUs members on this panel. Experience homecoming.
Yes, homecoming is important. HBCUs, that's definitely an experience. I think I crashed one of those, even though I did not go to HBCU. But it's definitely a good time. So yeah, I can echo the same. I had an awesome time, Wesleyan University in Connecticut. I mean, awesome friends that I'm still connected with to this day. And anytime I go anywhere in a room, there's another Wesleyan person. It's just like my family. So it's one of those things. You get a network, you get a family, and you'll realize later on, young people, is that these will be people that will be doing great things. So you get like a network of friends that 10 to 15 years later will be out there. They'll be presidents, they'll be directors, they'll be vice presidents. This is your new network. So if you look around now, you might have a different network, but after you go through this experience, your network will be just fabulous. So that's another benefit you get by going through this process, is you gain great people as friends. So I know we're getting close to the end here, and just I'll make this open for you all. I mean, you've seen a lot of things, you've done a lot of things in school. Just, any last nuggets of wisdom that you want to give to our young people, that you want them to know about college. Please honor us with that wisdom.
Working in the New York City board education system for the last 26 years, I just wish that all young students do their homework. Don't just listen to your counselors that say go to City College. No. They don't teach us about the Black colleges. So you interested, do your own homework. Put yourself out there.
I think that's a really great question. And I think that I'll kind of add something unique. I remember going to college, for for me, everyone was like, you know, you're really into STEM and science, technology, engineering. I had a good friend who was really in the arts. It was creative. So I'd say dream big. Don't let anyone tell you, oh, what are you going to do with that? There are so many jobs and opportunities out here. You can really kind of go on your own path and really succeed in all types of careers, right? I mean, not everybody is going to be a businessman or be an engineer. I know people who are artists. I know people who are creative directors. And so for them, they took a different path. They didn't necessarily go to a North Carolina A&T. They went to College of Creative Studies and focused on really honing in on their craft and design and art and their creative thought and their creative spirit, but they never stopped dreaming and thinking that they could. They just kept seeking more information on how can I be a better artist? And we just supported each other and recognizing, yeah, you'll be the greatest artist out there. Let's figure out where you can go. But like I said, just dream big and keep trying.
Dream big, panelists. Wow, that's great. All right, online, what do you have?
I see you moving, Amber, so I didn't want to jump in front. I was just going to say, I think similar to what was just said, when you're selecting a major, pick a major that you truly want. One of the biggest things that I see with students when they come into my office is someone told them to be an accountant. There's nothing wrong with accounting and being an accountant, and we do need more students into accounting. But if it's not your calling, don't do it just because. If you're going into finance, go in there because you have a passion for it. Because nobody is getting up to go to those 8 a.m. going and studying for you. So pick a major where you're passionate, because the comment, it doesn't matter where you start. And forgive me, I couldn't catch your name fully. I apologize, my Aggie friend. What you said was so important, because there's so many majors by yourself in that major. If you have these broad skills and broad talents, companies will take you on and they will train you in what they want to train you in or what specific needs they have. So pick something that you're not going to be miserable in, pick something that you're going to do well in, but then seek out those job opportunities out there and engage companies, because they will hire you. But if you're struggling because you're not in a major that's where your heart is, it'll be difficult. But you can do and you can get through. Like for example, I have a degree in sociology and I work in a business college now. That doesn't really click, but it's because I did and made the most of every opportunity that I got that I'm here now. And so let's talk to more people and be engaging.
Yeah, I basically agree with everything everybody had just said. I guess my one piece of advice is don't let anybody stop you from doing what you truly want to do, because, specifically being a minority and female engineer, I've heard you can't, you don't, you won't all the time. And that just pushes me to do it more. And I'm doing it because I love engineering as well. It's not just because I want to prove people wrong, but I feel like a lot of times we let people's perceptions or their own fears or their own insecurities onto us. And so it's just like, if I didn't become an engineer every time somebody said I couldn't or I shouldn't or I should be, barefoot pregnant and be as successful as I am now. So it's just like, literally do what you want to do and don't let anybody stop you. Figure out how to get there and just get it done. Like it's not going to be easy, but it's going to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I think we got.
But I also want to add, because I was listening to what everyone was saying, and I think what's interesting, one of the best advice I also got but did not listen to was actually to apply for every scholarship out there. I went to school with someone whose last name was, I think it was like Robinson, and they got a scholarship for someone who had the name like last name Harris. And I'm saying that's what they get them. They literally just applied and no one else did. So I think one of the things that stops a lot of us from going to school is money. So if you can collect the most money you can, from the beginning, it is so helpful, at least to just kind of get you started. And I think similar to, following that major that you're interested in, I think what you want to do is, you know, get some money through those scholarships, and as soon as you kind of get there freshman year, find out all the opportunities on campus that exist that you don't have to pay back.
Mhm.
So any job, I mean, I tell people I went to Duke. I went to the athletic department, told them I love sports and can I do some work there? And I got myself an internship with Duke Athletics. And I learned more about the business of Duke, the business of sports, just doing that. And it was an opportunity that I was able to leverage into getting jobs after school, but you don't have to pay that money back, right? So do what you can to get scholarships and grant money that you just don't have to pay back. But that's the advice that I feel like someone gave me and I didn't listen to until probably halfway through school, and that's what helped pay for the rest of my education.
Well, that's great advice. I mean, I'm taking notes and for so Javon, sorry, we missed out on this great advice, but now you heard it, so you can apply to more scholarships. So that's mommy, daddy have to pay. This is an awesome time. Lots of great wisdom, lots of great nuggets. So I'm hoping the young people here have learned something today about college preparation. So we had a great panel here. So I just want to give everyone a hand clap. Andre and Shelly in the room, and Jamie and Amber online. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Cindy Bob, Determine to Educate, for putting this together, this awesome event here. The Police Athletic League here in the Bronx, New York, City of New York. I think I'm remembering all the great people who've come to help us today with this awesome event. But thank you for spending your time with the young people today. I'm sure they've gotten some great nuggets of wisdom and will be able to use that. And everyone here is going to college. So we'll see you again. Very much, DTV. Thank you. Cindy, did you want to, I think she stepped out to say a couple of words. So I wanted to give her an opportunity, but if not, thank you all for coming.